All right, everybody, welcome back to the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima Batteries. We are in the afternoon of qualifying for the four-wheel parts Everyman Challenge. We have three classes qualifying today: the Yukon 4500 modified class, Spider-Track's 4600 stock class, and the Brannick Motorsports 4800 Legends class. We basically have, I believe, about 2 hours left of qualifying. We have Power Hour yet to come out this afternoon, and I know that both Jim and I are super excited to see some of those cars tackle the course.
Yeah, and out on course at the moment, we've got Richard Fenton. He's looking really hot as he's heading around there. Now, let's not forget our current top qualifier is Jason Bunch, who laid down a fantastic time earlier, and nobody has yet got close. He's got 10 seconds of clear air on the second place, Dustin Frisch.
Absolute huge lead for him in this short qualifying course that we've had so far. That's a 10-second gap between Justin Bunch and Dustin Friesen. And we talked to Dustin about that earlier, and he had said, you know, they went out, they pre-ran this qualifying course, and even between pre-running and now, the course has changed a lot. And as we've watched so far today, this course has been chewed up, spit up, there's many more ruts, there's much more rocks, and it seems to be really affecting everyone as the day goes on.
It's going to be very interesting to see. In about an hour's time, we're going to have our Power Hour for the three classes, 45, 46 and 4800. We're going to see the big guns come out. But the question is, has the course degraded so much now that Jason Bunch is sitting on an inassailable lead?
We really won't know, like we said, until probably some of the heavy hitters come out. I think with those if anyone is going to topple him, it's probably somebody during that Power Hour. We've seen some guys hit this course with what we felt were blistering fast paces, and they were still 10, 15 seconds off that leader. So I think it's going to take a lot to unseat him from that pole position.
I couldn't agree more. As we watch John Snell coming on round through the first sets of bends. And coming into town very shortly, we're going to have Richard Fenton, who was looking good for pace, so it'll be great to see what his time is to give us a benchmark on where the others are going to be this afternoon.
And about to leave off the line here in Hamilton is Andrew Gordon.
Now in this group, we've also got some interesting vehicles. We've got Levi Shirley going to be going out very shortly in his old race car. Now let's see what happens there. He's spent a lot of time rebuilding that solid axle car, the old Sniper fab frame, getting it ready, and he's going to use the EMC as a pre-run for the 4400 class main race on Friday.
You know, that's an interesting thing. You know, we talk a lot about a lot of the 4400 drivers have slipped down into that UTV class for that exact same reason, and now we see Levi in this EMC class possibly for the same reason. I actually was talking to a couple drivers the other day about that. Is that a good plan? Is it a good plan to come in here and run as many races as you can before the 4400? And it seems to go both ways. Some guys are like, yeah, you get a lot of seat time, but other drivers are like, no, this race is painful on your body, and if you go out there and compete in a race that's 8-10 hours long, you don't want to get back in that car the very next day.
It's an interesting situation. When I first came racing here in 2013, I did the EMC, and then the following day, race King of the Hammers. It was a tough 2 days in the chair, but now that's quite normal. We got to see a lot of our top guys running either the UTV race or running the EMC, and using those as a pre-run for the big gig, which is King of the Hammers on Friday. Here goes Andrew Gorman off the line now. What looks like a Jibby's car. Making good pace as he comes up into that top turn.
So far, we've had no incidents inside the short course area of Hammertown. A couple of rollovers out on the big section. And it just sort of shows that everyone there's some guys that are pushing the course really, really hard, making maybe a bad decision, getting that rollover, but you have to if you want to try to knock down that fast time.
Gorman looking very fast here. That car is very nicely dialed in.
Here's that first rock section we've been talking about all morning. This is where everyone seems to make or lose time. You can see he ran through it fairly smooth, but I think he did shave off a couple seconds in that section.
He definitely lost time there, Ian. Just a momentary lapse of concentration, hesitation, call it what you wish. It's very safe to say that Jason's Bunch's time is still the time to beat. And it doesn't look like Andrew Gorman is going to be troubling him. It's been a beautiful day here in Hammertown. The sun is shining, we've got some light cloud. Slight breeze as well, keeping the dust at bay. A perfect day for qualifying.
Hopefully we'll have that wind keep up. Wind can play a big role in the race itself, because as you know, when you're out on that course with multiple other cars, there's dust in front of you. That little bit of cross breeze can help shed that dust away, allows you to run a lot faster, catching up to the cars that are in front of you.
Indeed. And let's not forget, at the end of today's qualifying, we have Power Hour, and then after that, we've also got the Holly EFI shootout, where the rock bouncers are going to be in action and showing us what you can do with a banjo and 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, there's definitely no question. There's one vehicle that's going to most be synonymous with a drag race car, and that is a rock bouncer out here. Open headers, 800 to 1,000 horsepower is the norm.
We watch Matthew Long here, making his way through the short course, and as Ian said, it's been incident-free so far. But that can all change ever so quickly. Good pace there through the first rock trail. Takes a nice line. Very tall silhouette of this Jimmy's car.
That's the section we've been watching all day. Some people go high left on that section, some guys stay low right.
You see that car fishtailing as he goes through there. It's got a lot of weight up top. Center of gravity is very high. Very different to the cars that we see nowadays racing in 4400, which have that very low profile.
Oh, absolutely. It's a delicate balance. You get that car up high, you want that ground clearance, you want room underneath the belly of that car for the rock trails, but then at the same time, you also want the center of gravity low. That's where the IFS cars have really sort of changed the game.
Matthew Long is looking very fast here. Two
Oh,
wheels as he comes down over the top of short bus. Now this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure he's going to bother Jason Bunch's time, but I think he might punch well into that top 5.
Absolutely, he certainly seems to be setting some pace. Here's an amazingly interesting car. I was spying this one on the lineup. Classic iron old Willie's body on a 4500 car.
And it sounds good as he makes his way towards that first turn. Jesse Bolter, really nice guy. Good to see him back out here. Now we're going to be keeping an eye open for Matthew Long, who's not before long, if you'll pardon the pun, will be coming back through the Jeep arch. That'll be that same old question, left, middle or right?
I think it'll be whichever one's in front of him. But I think you're right, he was making a lot of time up on short bus, but I don't think he has enough to knock our leader off.
No, I don't think so. Here he comes now. He's through the arch, no hesitation. Comes down the right line as he sees it. But I think that costs time. He has to make that turn at the bottom, and he just bleeds a little more speed. A few more seconds get lost.
I absolutely agree. I think we've seen pretty much all of our fast leaders have come through that Jeep arch and went right down the center.
Now we'll give you Matthew Long's time very shortly as soon as we have it. We watch Jesse Bolter working his way out around the back of the track.
Yeah, when Jesse came off that rock trail, you can see when he took that hard left, that berm at the bottom of that turn is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Now you can use that to your advantage if you see it and turn into it, but it can also be detrimental to you if you get on the top side of it. It'll put you on your lid in a hurry.
Matthew Long there, coming in his 16th place with a 3:07. He lost a lot of time on the back end of the course there. He was travelling fast around that first section. As we saw him go at the back of short bus, he was looking really good. Oh dear.
As he struggles up there, you can tell that's a two-wheel drive only. I think he probably hit a lever or made a mistake, but now he's back into four-wheel drive and away he goes.
Yeah, well, there was a rock hanging up on the front axle maybe. These seconds precious. Just disappearing with every moment. Let's watch Jesse Bolter coming down the back of short bus. It's going to be Don Radta taking the line. I love these images of the cars. Some fantastic opportunities having a look at this engineering. As we watch Don Radke making his way out towards the rocks, just checks his speed. Oh, nicely done.
Very well done. It's exactly what we were
Good
talking
transition.
about. Yes, right in there, carried a good amount of speed on the bottom end, didn't slow down, rolled right through that upper rock pile, took that hook to the right. He's doing very well.
Watching the 48.65 of Don Radke going up over the top now. This is a good run. Guessing it's going to put him around about 3:10, something like that.
He has a very good run. That'll be. I agree with you. I don't think he's got any jeopardy of knocking our leaderboard off, but he is moving incredibly fast.
Indeed, as Vaughan Neville leaves the line now in the 45.01. Very different livery on this car. Vaughan Neville just picking his way nice and carefully around the course. Not taking any chances, it would appear. Vaughan Neville now making his way up through to the top. This is a nice steady run, I think is the best way to describe it.
I would agree with that. I think the thing to remember, of course, is anyone who's watching at home, this is a 4500 car. That's different than a 4800 car. 4500 modified class car. Definitely not as, well, maybe not as aggressive as a 4800 car would be the best way to put it.
Well, I don't know. You say that. Dustin Friesian's a 4500 class car is currently our second place qualifier today. But EMC is a race, well, King of the Hammers is a race that means many different things to many different people. Some people come here to try to win, some people come here just to try to finish.
Absolutely.
But he's picking his way down here very slowly. I wonder if he's got some issues. Looks like he still has steering, so maybe it's brakes. Maybe he just wants to be cautious. Or maybe he does. Oh no, he's pulling off the track.
Looks like maybe he's just done.
Or is he taking a shortcut? Where's he going? Come back, Neville. Now he's found the skinny pedal again by the looks of it. That's a great looking car though.
Oh, I think
Oops.
maybe he realized that he made a mistake.
Yeah, I think 4501, he needs to buy himself a map. But I'm sure he'll work it out in the end.
Well, at the very least, he's found the Jeep arch. He will drop through it.
And sitting on the start line is the 1950 car of Logan Goodall from Goodall Racing. Nice shot there. See the GPS antennae, the GoPro style camera. Having a conversation with his co-driver. Working out what they're having for dinner tonight. So as we wait for Vaughan Neville, it will be Logan Goodall who'll be next off the line. And here we go, it's the 1950 car of Logan Goodall off the line. Engine screams, first jump in the bag. Let's see what we can do.
He'll be out through the short course. As we said before, incident-free short course so far today. But we still have the power hour to come in, and we have a course that's been torn up by many cars.
Okay, let's see what Logan can do here on these rocks. No frills, no spills, just nice driving. Good work there, Logan.
Easily through it. He did check up a little bit on his speed rolling in.
He's not going to trouble our leaders, but it's looking like a nice run so far. In fact, in this afternoon session, I'm not sure we've seen anyone break the 3-minute barrier.
No, I think we haven't seen anyone who can push past that leader, even though there's been a few that looked like it. They did not come close.
Okay, here we go. Now, this is someone a little bit different. In fact, we've got two people a little bit different. This is Car Zero. And driving Car Zero is motorcycle superhero Jimmy Lewis. Sat next to him is Matt Fallis, a.k.a. Texas Jesus. Gonna be interesting to see what happens now as we watch Logan Goodall come over the top. And in only a few seconds, it will be Jimmy Lewis powering off the line. Here he goes.
Number 0 takes the course.
Jimmy Lewis, of course, has done so many amazing things on motorcycles, but this is a little bit different. Got a whole heap more cylinders and 2 more wheels.
You know, that's interesting. We've seen so many people come from other types of motorsports to come into Ultra 4 racing. And, you know, some do well, some not. It just sort of seems to be whether it fits with your driving style or not. I think it's definitely, this is the type of racing that it has its own driving style.
Indeed. This is one of those Jimmy Spec Class chassis once again, and it's looking really good. Nice pace here from Jimmy. Saying earlier, I'd love to have a microphone in that car, hear what they're saying. I'm not sure it would be broadcastable, but my word, it would be fun.
Quick work of those rocks.
Oh,
no
yeah.
checkup at all, just straight drive right through it. That's
There's
the
one
right way
thing
to
that we
do
see
it.
time and time again, particularly from off-road motorcyclists. They are able to read the land really well. They understand it, they see it so much faster than other people.
They're
Great
also,
skills.
you got to remember, a motorcyclist is used to having a helmet on whenever he's out in that dirt. So to spy a line through a helmet versus no helmet is an art in itself.
Yeah, it's no accident that most of the best Dakar drivers are all ex-motorcyclists. Once again, it doesn't look like it's a speed that's going to trouble Jason Bunch, but it's got good flow. And he's looking nice and sharp. Car's transitioning well. It's got good pace. You see the shadow starting to lengthen over that far side now.
Absolutely.
And we've got another hero about to take to the line now in a solid axle car, an old Sniper Fab car, and that is the young man that is Levi Shirley. Here he goes. Max is back, Levi Shirley. He's going out on the EMC, wants to use it as a pre-run for the main race and the big dance. KOH on Friday.
It'd have been interesting to talk to Levi to find out, because anyone who's spent any time driving an IFS car, driving a solid axle car, especially in the rocks, it is a very different car to drive. How much time did he spend pre-running in the solid axle car? Is it going to affect him in the IFS car? Those are questions that you need to ask.
I have asked those questions.
Oh, what are the answers?
No, Levi's good friend was around his pits last night. Oh, door net's open. It's interesting. It's around there, they fitted internal bypass shock absorbers to this vehicle to try and control it a little bit more. But they've also downsized from 40-inch tyres, because this used to be a 4400 class car. They've downsized to 37s. And I asked Levi, you know, how does that affect you? And he said it's completely transformed the car, and the handling is totally different. But what they've done is they've also stretched the wheelbase. As we watch Jimmy Lewis just crossing the line there, as Levi Shirley heads out the back with his window net flying open. So we'll get a confirmation of the time for Jimmy Lewis for you very soon, but I don't think he's going to have broken that magic 3 minutes. But no, Levi, they stretched the wheelbase of this Sniper Fag vehicle. As they replace the shock absorbers. Yeah, I didn't want to say it too early, but they are going to be stopping Levi. You can't drive with the window net flying open, and so I'm not sure that's how that's going to affect him, whether he's going to be allowed to rerun at all. But it's a safety issue. You can't run like that, so he's going to have a marshal stop him very shortly.
Yeah, I think that's important to realize. That window net, you know, if you're not from motorsports, you may think, oh, it's just a window net, but that is an incredibly important part of safety equipment in the event of a rollover, keeping everything inside the car, namely you and your body parts. That is no different than driving at this point without a seatbelt on, I think.
Yeah, you actually saw his hand come out of the car there, trying to retrieve that door net. He's very aware of the problem. So a tough break there for Levi. Let's see what they do, whether they'll let him have a rerun or whether he's going to be starting from the back of the pack. And it just goes to show, we're talking about Levi Shirley here. This is a guy who's podiumed at King of the Hammers. This is the guy who's won the national championship. And he has a tough break like that, that just shows you how tough this sport is.
Absolutely. Anything can take you out of this race. I think that's the one thing that everyone needs to remember. Any type of off-road racing, it's sometimes it is not the expensive part that takes you out of the race. Sometimes it is the inexpensive part that ends your day.
In this case, the $5 door catch.
Absolutely. Yeah, you could see Levi coming on the far side. I think he just scrubbed the run and just came in on his own.
Yeah. That's a real shame for Levi there, but the man is talent. And if anyone can come from the back of the field, it's Levi.
Well, you know, it's what we talked about earlier. For somebody like Levi, it may be better to start a little bit further back in that pack. Have guys to chase, guys to follow through the course, run them down, pick them off. Guys like seasoned racers like Levi, they sort of live on that.
I raced with Levi a couple of years back in Ultra 4 Europe, and myself and him both got disqualified from qualifying for going the wrong way. We started last and we came first and second. So you can be done.
Absolutely. There was a time back when Ultra 4 was luck of the draw when Shannon Campbell started almost dead last and came back. That it happens. All right, we just got confirmation. Jimmy Lewis just came in at 3:10.
And if we've got a Clyde Bynum out there, can he please come to the side of stage and see our race director, Chris Bowler? Clyde Bynum. Come and see race director Chris Bowler at side of stage, please. So we're waiting for the next starter. I'm just going to see if I can find Jimmy Lewis's time. Yeah, 3:10 there for Jimmy Lewis. And we're on a course hold at the moment. JT Taylor, one of our course directors, is having a chat to Levi Shirley. And we're just going to see if he's going to be allowed a rerun or whether he's going to DNF. Okay, while we're waiting for course to reopen, we're going to have a look at some footage from earlier in the day, and I believe we've got some in-car footage from our current leader, Jason Bunch, coming up any moment. Oh, look at this. This is fantastic footage here, and this is Jason Bunch. He is our current fastest qualifier, so he's coming up now off that first jump, off the throttle, back on the throttle. Check yourself, pull back one gear, heading into Talladega. Now start to feather the throttle, in we go, harder, harder, harder. Punch it down hard now on the exit. That's it, feel the car tip. Really nice stuff here. Pushes out wide for the second turn. Feather back in, start to accelerate, hold it round. Here he comes, there's that second jump, hold it in hard, pull the gear, there she is. Pops into third and off the top. This is great stuff here. As we head up towards the first set of rocks. His co-driver will be checking him up. Seeing the line, there it is. Put the wheels in the right place, punch it, turn to the right, over the top. And now we're going to get back to the action. We'll see the rest of Jason's run later on. Stephen Adams, 4893, powers over the first jump and into the first Talladega turn.
You can really tell watching that in-car footage, what we've been talking about all morning is that one section, that one rock section, you need to fully commit. You could see in that car, there was no hesitation. He was into that rock section, front end in the air, and then pivot around and come down.
Yeah, you can see how the car was checking up as well. It's really interesting. When you're sitting in that position, you can see, if you're a racer, you understand how that car's feeling at that moment.
This is a very fast pace for Steven right now.
Yeah, this is looking really nice. I like this. Let's see what Steven's got for us on these rocks.
Perfect. You can actually see, by looking at that and then seeing that in-car footage before, it looks like that rock course section actually has calmed down a little bit. If you have the right line in there, it's not throwing that front end up in the air. All All right, we just got confirmation from Race Ops right now. Levi will get to rerun that his qualifying lap because of that window net failure. He'll come back and rerun that qualifying course again, which, as we've already talked about, can be good. He's now spent some time out there on pretty much the entire course. He's gotten to see it. We'll see how that affects how he drives it the second time around.
But I think that's a wonderful example of sportsmanship that we have in Ultra 4. There are so many sports that if we did that, they'd be protested out straight away. They'd be like, no, he's done his run, tough luck, get to the back of the grid. But it's not like that here in Ultra 4. We do our racing on the course. We don't do our racing in the pits. We don't do it sly. We want to race them on the course. So you'll get that second run again, and that's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. I think a lot of that harkens back to the very origination of this sport. I mean, you got if anyone's been involved with Ultra 4 racing for as long as most of us have, this was a true grassroots motorsports. You know, when it first started, there was no qualifying. There was luck of the draw, and that sort of created that required relationship between drivers and other drivers to get through a race.
And here's 4850, Chris Pierce heading into that first bend. Got a nice speed there, good flow. And that's starting to chop up again on the outside now. And that could have a major part to play later on as we're heading towards power hour. Chris's orange wheels glowing in the afternoon sun. Oh, and he's picked the wrong line. Look at that.
You know, we saw someone do that earlier, take that far left line completely by mistake. The question is, as he's making that corner and heading up that way, he's almost into that sun head on. That could affect our afternoon drivers.
Yeah, he just loses a good few seconds there. It doesn't look like he's lost much, but that's probably going to cost him nearly as much as 10 seconds. It's the check up in speed and losing that flow again. It's amazing how much it affects your overall time.
Absolutely. Not a big deal when it comes to race day itself, but on a qualifying lap like this, where we're talking about 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 2 minutes and 40 seconds between first and third place, that's a huge, huge loss.
And you're starting to see now how that's really cutting up around the back, although the car looks smooth. In fact, that looks so much better than I was expecting. Oh, it's choppy there, though. You can see how the car just loses traction, gets held back.
If you look at the dirt coming off that right front tire, it looks low.
Yeah, it's not flowing up there. I wonder if he's actually picked up a puncher going up through. Yeah, he's struggling now. He's fighting that.
We'll see it when it comes over the top, but it certainly looked going in like it was a little bit softer than the rest of the tires.
Yeah, he's definitely dropped a lot of speed there. Yeah, definitely there. He's got a puncture on the front, and I think that's the first puncture we've actually seen today.
This is not where you want a puncture to, coming downhill in a situation like this. Yeah, that right front tire looks like it's, if it's not flat, it's definitely a lot lower than the rest of them.
As we watch Chris Pierce here having to try and pick his way and force his way down. You can see how the car's just washing out.
That's how important you think that, oh, it's not a big deal. If the tire is obviously not off the rim completely on the inside yet, but it is flat. That ruins the ability to drive that car.
Now he's got to make a call here. He either tries to finish the course, which can actually damage the car further. For example, if he smashes the inside of that rim, he could damage his brake calipers. He could do all kinds of things to his car. He's got to either make a decision to continue and do that, or just get off course and get back to his pits and accept the fact that he's going to be starting last.
Based on this line, I think he has chosen to basically abandon the course at this point.
Yeah, it looks that way. Oh, that's a very wise decision. One of our course marshals there, just driving up round. Going to ask him to go to a certain direction.
And on the start line right now is Levi Shirley. He will get to rerun his race. had a window net failure before, and they pulled him off the course, wouldn't let him finish, wouldn't let him continue, obviously for safety reasons. So he's going to get to go and run that qualifying lap again.
So he's been pre-running his prologue pre-run. Okay, so where we wait for the course to clear. Just gonna watch this car now. So he makes his way out through the back of short bus. Now we're gonna have to see where Chris Pierce is. Hopefully he's off course. Looks like he was.
Based on the terrain underneath those tires, I definitely think he's well off course.
Yeah. As we watch the car coming down, short bus now, Levi Shirley leaves the line for the second time. Solid axle sniper car, window net firmly closed this time. And let's see what this young superstar can do.
I think that if we have had anyone so far this afternoon that's going to challenge that leader, I think Levi might be the one.
I couldn't agree more. But this is what you have to remember. He puts all of his major love into that 4400 class car, Loretta, his Campbell IFS vehicle. So he's been working on this car flat out, trying to get it ready, but we all know that you don't quite put that much love in because you're putting that much love into the other vehicle. So let's see what happens. But yes, if anyone's going to challenge Jason, it's going to be Levi.
Yeah, and it's just like we were talking about before, driving an IFS car, driving a solid axle car, those are two very different skill sets. It's one of those things that it's not as easy as just jumping from one car to the other.
Absolutely not, and they handle so differently. Levi was saying that he was finding the way that the front end punched up so much more violent than in his IFS car. So it caught him off guard a few times, almost stolen the breath away from him.
Well, the other issue is a solid axle car, no matter what, is harder on you physically than an IFS car. So you go out, you race a race like this, you come out, you compete in the EMC, and you're in that solid axle car, you're being beaten up right before the big dance on Friday. How will that affect him when he straps into that IFS car? No one knows except for him.
Oh, this is looking good now. So let's see if Levi can actually push this time at Jason Bunch.
He is certain. If
oh,
he's
look
moving
at this,
fast through there, no questions asked.
This is good. This is really nice. You can see the difference in the way that the car is handling. It looks totally different from anything else we've seen so far this afternoon. Good pace. Max's tyres digging up the dirt there.
Coming in incredibly fast.
Going to be very interesting to watch the clock, but he's certainly going to be sub 3 minutes, which will be the first this afternoon.
This will be a great car that'll lead us into our power hour that starts at 3, where we got some of the biggest heavy hitters in this sport coming into this.
And of course, let's not forget that Levi Shirley is part of the main power hour tomorrow in the 4400 class. Now, where's he going to go? Center line?
He just invented his own line.
He's
we'll
just
call it
his
half
own
center.
line, yeah. Why do what somebody else has done when you can make it up? Here he comes, crossing the line sideways. Nice stuff from the young man.
Incredibly fast. 2:46 for Levi. So fast, but not fast enough. So he's unofficial second, so still not able to push Jason Bunch. And that is shocking considering how fast he was moving through that course.
So that just goes to show you how fast Jason has been. But let's not also forget that Levi is a 4800 class car. That means Dustin Friesian, okay, he's in third place overall, okay, but he's still leading his 4500 class. Great stuff there from Levi. And he'll be very pleased with that.
Oh, absolutely.
So while we're waiting for the next group of qualifiers to come forward, we're going to head on back and have a look at that in-car footage from Jason Bunch's very fast run earlier today. Here we go, heading out towards the first set of rocks now. Look at this, nice flow, get to the top, hard right, bring it down. Sink it in, feel it round, put the power in, nice and gentle, feel the back end fishtail, avoid those little rocks, and then full noise. Great stuff here. You can see how the car is fishtailing in the ruts as it's moving left and right. You just be feeling that, feathering that throttle as he comes through here. You see all those little rocks on the right hand side, you have to be so careful. In fact, it's interesting watching this, Ian. I thought he'd be faster through this section here. He comes up the left hand side, coming up towards the top of short bus. So
yeah, he almost checked up some speed to get that left side.
Indeed, which just shows you. So where did he make his speed? It's got to be on this downside, and here we go. This is the roller coaster ride. This is almost a controlled crash landing is the best way of putting it. It's got to avoid those rocks. Every single one of these rocks trying to grab the sidewall of that tyre and smash it out. And you can see how big they are on our cameras. You can't really see it, but as he's making his way down through here, all of these are like mines. If you hit any of these, it's going to finish your day.
Definitely faster this. You can see every time you see that camera look like it's turning to the left or the right, that is a right or left rear tire catching one of those rocks, because it will throw you up, turning you the opposite direction.
Right on the edge of happiness. So a great run here into the corner, back off, now into the power again, takes that different line, cuts the corner, spins it off to the side. Now you'll see what we mean here. You cannot see the drop. There is no drop, and then there's a drop. Bonnet, bonnet, sky. Final turn, inside line, chuck the back end out, full power over the jump, and that's the line. Great run there from Jason Bunch. And still our fastest time.
Absolutely. And probably the biggest thing that you can notice when you watch that POV footage versus you watch what we've seen this afternoon is you can see the course. It is not rutted out. Not as rutted out as what we've seen. That's what's causing people time, I think. I think the course is just being torn up car after car. All right, as we take a break from the action here at the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers powered by Optima batteries, we'll be back shortly as we all are looking forward to Power Hour.
Tells our story. From stock replacement to high performance and racing applications, our gear sets are made with pride in the USA, crafted with quality and passion. With more than 50 years of manufacturing experience and complete control of the process from start to finish, US Gear is committed to providing you with ring and pinion sets that exceed your expectations every mile and every pass.
So King of the Hammers, it's the toughest one-day race in the world as far as I'm concerned.
When you need your winch, that's the only thing that matters. It's about getting to the finish line first. It doesn't matter how you do it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries. We are deep in qualifying today for the 4-Wheel Parts Everyman Challenge. So far, we've worked through a huge group of qualifiers. What we're going to do next is just pick up a few of the scragglers who couldn't make it to the line earlier before we lead into Power Hour.
My favorite bit of the day, Power Hour. All the big guns are coming out to play. They're going to bring all their toys out of the shed and show us what they've got. Expect a high horsepower assault on this fantastic short course.
The question will be, can somebody unseat Jason Bunch from that first place position?
Well, so far we've seen a few people try, but when you see people like Levi Shirley not able to get close, it does make you wonder if it is possible. But we've got some guys out there who are going to be trying really hard. We've got Casey Gilbert, we've got Jade Wickham, we've got Albert Contreras, we've got Bailey Cole in that Trent Fab car. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he goes. Jimmy Jack, Matt Howe, John Grounds, and a whole bunch of other people, including Dan Fresh. It's a very, very high talent field, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
All week we'll be live from the lake bed. All day today we've been doing the qualifying. Tonight at 5:55 p.m. will be the Holly EFI Shootout.
Yeah, Miles and Scott are going to be taking us through all the best of the action from Shootout tonight. We're going to see those rock bouncers throwing 1,000 horsepower at the toughest hills in Johnson Valley. It's going to be great fun to see.
After that, at 9 p.m. is the live Amsoil After Dark. Something new this year. It's going to basically be just a recap of the day, find out what's new, what's going to happen, maybe some little top secret information about what's going to come the very next day.
Yeah, looking forward to that very much. And then tomorrow, it's the 4400 class qualifying, and I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're going to have another Power Hour, and we're going to have all our superheroes out there trying to lay down the fastest times possible for their start on the King of the Hammers on